and I realized what it was like to be a care receiver. One of the things I realized really quickly as a care receiver is this is the time not to get too crabby, because you want them to come quickly. And if you're crabby, they'll do anything they can to avoid coming by the crabby person, right? And so I learned really quickly to say thank you and to not be crabby. But that was hard. Most of our care receivers have been in charge, or have, right? And it's hard to give that up. It's hard to admit you need help. It's hard to look at the losses. So as I speak to you today, and the talk I'm giving you is actually one that can go and apply to any area of our life. It's called Celebrating Life. Since I'm a pastor's wife, I can quote scripture, and it's okay. But the psalmist David had a great psalm, and it said, "This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." Now, isn't that a good phrase? If this is the day the Lord has made, let us rejoice and be glad in it. I like to say, Lord, this is the day you have made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. However, there are some days when I should be saying, and this is the NIV, this is the day the Lord has made, I will rejoice and be glad in it. I change it to the JIV, which is the Judy International version. And it goes like this. This is the day the Lord has made, and I'm just going to be miserable in it. Or, this is the day the Lord has made, and I'm going to make everyone else miserable in it. Can I do that? Can I do that? Can I make somebody else's life miserable? Oh, you bet I can. And I'm so gifted at it. And so life is full of choices. We choose our behavior in so many ways. And when we were first married, I married my husband. I was 18, he was 22, and he was just out of jail, Grand Haven actually, for breaking and entering. He was a greaser, black leather jacket, sideburns blowing in the breeze. Now, this is 50 years ago, okay? And but actually, when he went into the pastorate, they always sent him to the jails because he knew how to get around. But now they tore down his own home, We had to go there and actually take pictures. Jerry says, I got to take pictures of the old jail because it's going, And but anyway, and so I married this guy, and he stood up to the chief of police. And then, and I thought that was so neat. And then I married him. Oh, you're already ahead of me. And I would say to him, because he stood up to me. And I'd say, you make me so mad. He'd go, no, you're choosing to be angry with me. Was he right? Yeah. Sure he was. You make choices all the time. And you say, oh no, I would never do that. I don't do that. When you're in the middle of an argument with somebody, and you can just be going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and going back and forth, and the phone rings, and you say to your partner, whoever you're with, I can't believe you're saying this, I can't believe you're doing this, and you pick up the phone and go, hello. Right? Yeah. We've made a choice to be nice to that person on the phone, and to let them think how nice we really are, correct? So we make choices all the time. So yes, this is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice. I'm going to make a choice. Now, that sounds so easy to do that while you're laying in bed. However, I love this prayer. It goes, Dear Lord, so far today I've done all right. I haven't gossiped, lusted, lost my temper. I haven't been greedy, grumpy, nasty, selfish, or overindulgent. I'm very thankful for that. But in a few minutes, Lord, I'm going to get out of bed. And from then on, I'm going to need a lot of help. So the question for us is how do we do this? How do we celebrate life? I think the saddest thing on earth is people who have existed 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 years, but they've never lived a day. Negativism. Oh, it can just infiltrate our lives and the lives of those around us. Now, how many of you know negative people? You know, these negative people, I always say their favorite song is Cry Me a River. Their favorite book is entitled It's Bad and Only Getting Worse. Their favorite phrase begins with if only. And then they belong to the woulda, coulda, shoulda club. I would have done this, I could have done this, I should have done this. And think of all the if onlys we do. If only the sun would shine. Today, the sun's not shining. However, there is a positive with a cloudy day. This is the day the dust does not show in your house. All your windows look clean. Really? This is the day to have somebody over. But you know, if only. And so many times we if only. And oftentimes our if onlys, we don't have any control over. I don't have any control over the weather. I refuse to get upset in an airport because I don't have any control over that airplane. I don't have any control over the... So why am I going to waste all of my energy and get all tense and get all frustrated and get crabby with whoever I'm traveling with because my airline has been in delay? What a futile thing to do, correct? So what do you do instead? Well, what I do is I look at everybody else getting really upset, and I'm thinking, my goodness, I am just so much better place than they are. And so let's use the humor, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. If only. If only I would have. If only I could have. If only. And we can spend our whole life if only and belonging to the woulda, coulda, shoulda club. Or we choose joy where we are. Tim Hansel, in his book, You've Got to Keep Dancing, which, by the way, is still, it's been out for years and years and years, and he had chronic pain, and he talks about his journey in chronic pain. And this book is just a wonderful book. It's called You've Got to Keep Dancing. And one of the things he says in the book, if you have to move even 10 inches from where you are now to be happy, you never will be. You choose joy where you are. Now again, in theory, everybody goes, yes, yes, yes. But sometimes it's hard. So we need to look at, okay, how am I going to do this? How am I going to choose joy? How am I going to, you know, I have a little illustration for you. So like we all know the negative people. We don't want to be one of them, remember. So how do we go from here to here? How are we going to do that? Well, you know, I'd love to tell you that I've done all of this great, I got this great tome, and I'm selling it, and it's how to, you know, just forever, you know, be happy. But it really is so simple, and yet so profound.